Whole grown woman came up to him and said, "Can you do that any slower?"
And if this lady has a problem with...
She go fix that problem herself.
They're clearly measuring things with him.
Today, we have the beautiful
Dana.
Hello.
Tell us about yourself. What's your background?
I started out in 2018 doing speech therapy, and I started to become curious about behaviors. And so on a whim, I applied to grad school. I got in, and somebody that I'd met through speech, it was a speech pathologist, told me about BDA. So I started my career here as a clinical associate and worked my way up. And these two lovely ladies have been my mentors through the whole thing. So I appreciate that.
Honestly, worth the joke. Can we duplicate Dana?
I appreciate that. Dave's copy machine.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. I love this guy.
Okay, here we
This
go.
is, I'm very excited. I'm pleased.
Hey guys, it's me Satan. That this month is a new weight loss goal. Last month I got down 4% body fat. Walking 100 miles. This month, let's see how much you guys can lift.
I love him.
I'm so excited. Next week I'm gonna post how you guys could join. Come along. Let's run it up.
I love it.
I love that he has goals and they're clearly measuring things with him.
I gotta say.
They're taking data.
It's not even just the goals for me, it's the advertisement of the goals.
Yes.
And I love that he wants people to come along and do it with him. Because
Yes.
when you have other people with the buy-in, like it always works so much better. So
Yes.
I
Little
love
social
that.
pressure.
I'd run 100 miles with him.
100%.
By myself?
Probably not by myself for myself.
No, but for him, I would do anything. He's
Yeah,
so cute.
I need his content every time.
You can just tell how much like self-love he has, and I think
Yeah.
it's just a testament to his parents of how much they just, I'm sure, love him so much because he just exudes happiness.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking at him, I'm like, God, I just want to hug you. You're the cutest.
We knew you'd like
Yes.
it. We knew.
They like taught him to advocate for himself.
Yes,
It's beautiful.
absolutely.
And like to
Yes.
speak his truth and to like own his own reality and existence and be proud of it. It's just beautiful.
Before we press play,
Okay.
I would like to take a poll from the image on who's gonna cry first.
It's me. It can't be me.
I don't know. I've had some life stuff that makes tears really right here
Yeah.
for me. So
Guys, I'm a thawed ice queen, so I don't know.
you had a baby, so
Yo, I am weak now. Okay, so I'm gonna.
crying's not weak, Kyley.
It's not weak. It's not weak. It's not weak. But my eyes are, and like,
your tear
my
ducts
eyes are gonna be really sad the rest of the day because then they get really bright red, and then I have questionable eyes, and it's not a good thing for anyone.
Yeah.
All right, it's happening, guys. Oh no, it's probably gonna be me.
Can we get it?
Oh, sweet girl.
And it has a dog. A service dog.
That is so cool. It was me. It was me.
Okay, that I think got all of us. I think I have shivers just on one arm.
I am just a giant goosebump.
Too filled with joy on that one because it's just
watching.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish it actually made my eyes start to cry. I was like, oh no, it did get me.
I dodged.
Oh.
Dallas.
Can we get it? Can we get it? Can we get it? And it has a dog. A service dog.
I love her.
Ah.
I didn't know I was gonna cry on camera.
Yeah.
This is what I was invited
I know. This is why, like,
We brought the tears
Specifically that.
just for the.
that's why you were invited.
We know.
Thank you.
We know what we feel about this. This is
man.
the importance of having like,
You're self-represented in a toy.
yeah.
You should get to play with a human being that interacts
Yeah.
with the world and looks in the world the way that you interact and look in the world.
I hate that she's so excited about this and that this is such a gift.
Like that should be more commonplace
should
and
not.
easy.
That should be the
guys.
norm.
Yeah.
You're a kid. Like,
Yeah.
you're a kid.
Yeah.
I think for me, I have a sister on the spectrum, and even though it's a little bit different, it always pulls at my heartstrings, right?
Yeah.
Because you see that, like, how cool it is that people are taking the time to advocate for individuals. And so this little girl, like, yeah, she's in a wheelchair, but she's so capable, and she's so strong and so beautiful. And so to, like, have a toy And to just see her smile, like, whew,
Yeah.
gets me. Keep on making those toys because it just, you can see how much it means to all those people. I would love to see also the mom's face. I wonder too how she felt about being like, wow, like my daughter's represented in this toy. So even though, yes, like we hope that this increases and we hope that there's more representation, like what a beautiful thing it is to see that it's beginning. At least it's begun.
To have a doll that uses the same like devices she uses and navigates through the world the same way that she does is such an important like representation, especially because of what Barbie like represents generally.
That was a really cool video. That was a really good one. Cool. A good one.
If somebody can't change something about themselves in 30 seconds or less, then you shouldn't be mentioning it to them. If you say, hey, your shoe's untied, or hey, you have a little fuzzy on your shirt there, or if you say, hey, your pants are unzipped, I wanted to tell you privately because I didn't want you to feel embarrassed, but it happens to all of us. If you tell someone something like that, they can change those things in 30 seconds or less. But if you comment on someone's hair color or hair texture or hairstyle or body, they cannot change that in 30 seconds or less about themselves. Your words have power. If you say something that someone can't change in 30 seconds or less, you say those things. Try to fix it. You try to apologize. You try to take the words back. Take it back, take it back, take it back. And you try to undo what you said, undo what you did. But it's something they couldn't change about themselves, and so it's very messy. You can't totally take those words back. You can't totally fix it. Your words have power, and your words matter. If you walk out of this room spreading kindness to the people around you, spreading love to the people around you, that is what truly makes a difference.
Beautiful.
That was beautifully said.
I mean, it's such a great way of giving kids a clear rule because it's such a non-concrete thing. Like what are the things that are appropriate to say to another person versus not, and giving them that clear rule. Can you change it really quickly?
Yeah.
If you can, you say it. If you can't, you don't.
Ours was always that one step further of the mess has now been made, but that doesn't mean the mess has to stay.
Yeah.
And then there's the cleaning process, right? And what does that look like? Sometimes I think we get stopped at the like what you should or should not say, but oftentimes in ABA we teach that if you make that mistake or if you do that thing, how do you correct then that behavior? And we talk about overcorrection, about, hey, like you going and saying, well, I love your hair and I love this. That doesn't feel genuine.
Right.
That's overcorrection. Like you don't have to do that. That also doesn't feel very good.
Any client I work with, if the lesson that they walk away from working with me is the best thing I can do is do my best thing the next moment. It's okay that I made a mistake as long as I am my best self the next time. The most important step you take is your next one.
Yeah.
I love this video because it's a lesson for both adults and kids. I mean, the reality is like the words that adults say, like we have power in the things that we say. Working in the school district has been a really big blessing. And Kimberly and I actually did a training on it where we're like, the words that you say have power. When things are going south, what are we going to do in order to make sure that our words are life-giving and are kind and that we're helping learners understand. Reinforcers and helping people understand like, hey, sometimes we do make a mess of things. Sometimes we do squirt out that toothpaste. You're still loved.
Yeah.
It's still okay. It's going to be okay. And it's about the rebound.
This could be something that we can also take into that feedback land of better understanding the expectations of when those things should be changed or what is an adequate amount of time for that to be adjusted or, you know, stuff like that.
Totally. Yeah. Because I think here she's talking about like teaching kids when you should talk about another person's appearance.
Yes. Yeah.
And so like 30 seconds or less. But if we're talking to like our staff members about changing a behavior that they're doing in the field, like when is the right time to talk to them about it? Like what is the expectation for like how quickly they can change it?
I think also, I mean, having been received feedback from both of you, you do it with grace and you do it with like, hey, I hear you. Like, this is what I need to see. Like you're doing this, this, and this. This is how you can word this. Or like, hey, maybe next time try it this way. So it's always not just being like, you did this wrong. No, that's not how we talk to people. It's how can we help? It's a replacement behavior. And I think that's so important too, is giving a replacement for like, hey, you don't want me to do that. What do I do? You've told to me over the years on how to give feedback. That's still something I'm learning as a younger BCBA is how to give feedback and how to make people still feel valued and not devalued. But understand too that like, hey, this isn't about you as a person. This is just about how we can make your clinical skills better to serve the population that we're serving. It does take grace to receive feedback, but it also takes grace to give feedback and good feedback.
To your point, the replacement.
And the replacement.
Hopefully she's continuing to teach the kids in her classroom appropriate examples of what kind words look like.
Exactly.
Here's an example of autistic masking. This is how I used to walk as a kid.
Oh.
As you can see, there's something terribly wrong with how I walk. It's just too bouncy. It's too joyful. It must be punished.
Joyful.
And punished it was. Middle school kids are little shits. Everybody knows that. But in middle school, what happened to me is there would be kids who'd come behind me and walk and imitate my walk, and their friends would laugh and make fun of me. Just because I existed. Just because I walked the way I did. So I learned from a young age that how I was in the world wasn't okay, and I needed to change that in order to fit in order to not be made fun of constantly all day long, in order to not be bullied, in order to connect with others. And by the way, it's fucking exhausting.
As BCBAs, we spend so much time working with our clientele, like our people, to not necessarily fit into the world, but to be able to be independent in the world, right? So much time is spent educating our autistic individuals,
Peers.
and not their freaking peers.
Preach.
It frustrates me so much that we don't spend all of this quality time as well with neurotypical individuals. The world is a collection of so many different types of people, including but not limited to those with autism. And it really bothers me. Like, it bothers me.
I think our field historically focused very hard on making individuals with autism look indistinguishable from their peers and quote unquote normal. We literally, as a field, programmed out diversity and tried to make our clients behave in a very narrow scope of behavior that clinicians deemed as expected behavior. The first thing I say when I'm asked to work on a behavior is like, is it inhibiting like their contacting their environment? Are they missing out on social opportunities? Are they hurting others? Are they not able to interact with people or contact natural things in the world?
Yeah, their relationships are those like,
Are they being affected or not?
yes.
Like, and if the answer is no, we're almost definitely not working on it.
Community outings. Social skills within a protected clinic is great. And it's amazing. I am so for that. However, I also want to take our people into the world as well and not just teach them how to be independent in it, but advocate for them.
Yes.
Because there have been many situations I've been in where I've been in the community setting where it was not a lesson for my client. It was a lesson for the adult who was being rude to my client.
I learned very early on, if we are going through checkout lines, that I walk through the checkout lines before my client walks through the
100%.
checkout line to make sure that the adult my client is going to interact with is a reasonable adult to interact with in the beginning. Ultimately, clients need to learn to interact with all adults. But when we're teaching those lessons in the beginning,
you don't want to be
need
punishing.
somebody patient and kind and empathetic.
And it's an advocate for the parent as well to be able to let them know that like, it's not tolerated. One of my clients worked in a store, and the amount of time we spent in being able to actually have a job at a store and do these things that society's telling him to do. You need to make money, you need to do all these things, you need to be independent, blah, blah, blah. He's doing it. But he did it in his own way. And he was still working on being socially aware. And I will never forget, a whole grown woman came up to him and said, "Can you do that any slower?" And he didn't know what to say and what to do in that moment. And I literally looked at him, I was like, you don't need to say or do anything.
Probably like, I probably could.
I was like, this is, and I did. I directed, I was like, this is something you actually can ignore.
Yeah.
And that's when I was able to step in and have that dialogue with that adult. I think it's super important for that community setting to also know that we're not just there to work with our clients. We're there to like support them in the world. And sometimes that actually means working with the people around them.
100%.
Like maybe even more so.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do work in a lot of schools, and I can say it is universally true that the kids around our special needs students treat that student the way the adults do. If the adult makes that student just part of the classroom and a community member and backs them up just as hard as they would back up any other student who is being like called out by a peer, they are included and valued and a friend of everybody in the classroom. If the teacher others them, the students other them.
I mean, for me, growing up as a sibling with a sister with autism, having to advocate and be like, there were times where I would be like, she just speaks differently. Or like, hey, it might not sound, my sister, a little bit background, she jargons a lot, so there's a lot of sounds, or she scripts a lot, so a lot of movie scripts. So you're like, why are you talking about Alice in Wonderland? But what she does is she'll use different movies to express different feelings, which is a super cool thing. People were like, why is she doing that? And I advocate for her, and I've watched my mom do it beautifully, my dad, but there were times where I've been like, she has autism, you got a problem? And I'm not standing.
Love this one
I'm
video.
not standing, but I'm 6 feet tall, so people usually don't have a problem. But the sad part that I even have to say that is like, is there an issue here? Is like, that shouldn't have to be it. And I've learned as I've grown up and become a BCBA on how to give other people feedback and to explain things. But like, I just hope for anybody watching that if you were to see other students making fun of anybody, it doesn't matter if they're neurotypical or if they have anything, say something. Be the one that's like, hey, that's not cool. You're kind. It's like when Kyley said, that wasn't kind. And it's doing that with grace. But I think people need to know, and people need to hear that, like, it's not cool to do that.
If you're nervous to say something, just stand next to them. Your proximity says something.
It sure does.
Okay, Dana, this video is more so for your eyes. Kimberly and I have seen this.
Okay.
But with you speaking about your sister and advocating for your sister, I think we think it's gonna you're gonna resonate with this bad boy.
All right.
So I'm just gonna be as quiet as possible because this is your moment.
It's all your moment. Yeah.
Jake, and it's Red! You know what? I have a big thing to talk about today. We went to the movies yesterday. What movie did we see, Max? Prince of Persia. Max was getting his butter on his popcorn, and then for like 10 seconds, and I'm like, okay, Max, that's good. Come on, let's go to the movie. And then some lady behind Max was like, yeah, he's a jerk. He's just holding up the line on purpose. I'm like, no. He's not holding up the line on purpose. He's autistic. And you know what? I hope that this lady felt embarrassed on the inside after I said that to her, because she didn't say anything back to me. You know what? You just don't say that. Especially around autistic kids, you just don't act like that, okay? It's like saying that he doesn't have a soul, but he does have a soul. My brother hears everything that you say.
Yes.
And if this lady has a problem with the fact that my brother takes a little bit longer than everyone else to put butter on his popcorn, then she can go fix that problem herself, because we're not going to deal with it.
She go fix that problem herself.
I mean,
like, wow, I love that, because that reminds me of me
all the
when, like,
energy.
if you have a problem, like, you
That's
can
a
take
you
it up with
problem.
me.
Yeah.
And also it's a you problem.
And I hope
Butter.
she felt embarrassed on the inside because she didn't say anything to me.
Right? There were times where I'm like, yeah, I hope you felt bad about that. That was younger me. I don't want people to feel bad now. I would like to educate them now as a BCBA. But as a kid and as a sibling, I resonate with that, where I'm like, yeah, you should feel bad for saying that. What I really want to hone in on when he's like, he hears everything. And that's the truth, is whether or not an individual can necessarily vocally output or acknowledge that you're saying something, they're hearing you and they're hearing what's being said around them. This is where it gets me, is just because they can't verbally acknowledge what you're saying does not mean that they cannot hear or
they have
cannot
to receptive.
understand what is receptively happening. And so
infinitely more important that you act as though they understand every single word you say, because they cannot say something back to you to tell you how they feel about what you just said.
Your baseline should literally be, just be kind and not say anything stupid.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, the tracksuit.
That's exactly it.
I love it. Distractions.
This was me the other night, guys. I'm not even kidding you.
Jumps over her. I love it.
you know?
Whatever works.
Distracting is great.
Because here's the thing. I think there's this discernment moment where you're like, is there something I need to teach with the tantrum that they're having? Or are they having a tantrum because they're tired and feeling and this? And then it's like, just maybe they need the distraction. They need to like be redirected.
Yeah.
Especially at this age, sometimes kids are crying because they were just crying and they've sort of forgot about what triggered them.
Yes.
They're just still feeling the feeling. And they literally just need attention anywhere else.
Sometimes there is that moment where when you look at a meltdown, you have to identify, is this one that I need to like sit in and follow through on? Is there a lesson to be learned? Is there shaping that needs to be happened? Or is this we're gonna just redirect because you're just tired?
Yeah.
And all of
Just had a moment.
Hungry.
I loved the moment. I think it was like her second laugh where she like half crying, half laughing. She's like, I'm not sure if I feel better, but that was silly.
I need this. So you don't have money? I do have money. Well, I want to spend my money on this. Please? Just
It's $15. It's too much money for honey.
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
Oh my.
I don't see it.
Spend your money. 35?
Yeah, like maybe like even 45.
I don't see it.
We always say we don't want to put out the fire. We just want to make sure the fire goes in the right direction. It doesn't like cause a whole burnout, right? Like we want to like
You have a fiery kid.
keep that up.
Yeah.
Just point the fire in the direction you want it to grow.
Don't burn down the house with that bad boy.
Yep.
That's cute.
I like her. She's cute.
You know, the kids that have like very like strong personalities like that, they can be very challenging to parent because they have strong personalities, but those are great skills to have as an adult
They are.
if harnessed correctly.
Absolutely.
God bless the mama.
Fervent.
Today, one of my students was kicked out of class for talking, running around, and not doing his work, so I brought him to the therapy room to check in. I wasn't angry about his behaviors. I was curious about the factors driving them. What was going on in his body, his emotions, what unmet needs and skill deficits were barriers to his ability to be engaged and meet expectations. He felt overwhelming energy, a racing heart, a burning need to move. He felt silly and playful, craving connection, but also embarrassed and confused because he struggles to read. When we read the directions for the assignment he didn't do, he highlighted all the words he didn't know. He thought he was supposed to be drawing a picture. This wasn't a case of non-compliance. It was a case of many missing skills and unmet needs. But the process of discovery is a beautiful first step to helping him succeed.
That is.
So much.
I say all the time, we need to stay curious about why a student is having a behavior, a client is having a behavior, and I love that she said that. I wasn't mad about its behavior. I was curious about what was going on behind them and under them. And I love that she had all those visuals there for him to express himself.
That was really cool.
Dude, yes.
I want to like watch this video slowly and recreate most of them.
That's what I was like, taking in all the information.
Yeah.
The fact that there was highlighting, like that was a skill. Draw a conclusion. That is weird.
She did OBM, like mini OBM, like with this kiddo, like looked, like had him like check in with himself and then check in on like the task he was given and did he have the skills for the task? Like
I want that here. I want a room like that here that we can walk through some of those feelings. Like I will be going through this again.
Just needs those visuals. And then she's obviously worked really well with him to teach him to use them because he was upset in this moment. So he had to know how to use those tools already to be able to use them.
Absolutely. You know, as a young clinician myself, I had BCBAs come alongside me and be like, hey, we're not teaching coping skills when they're already upset. Let's teach coping skills. Let's teach these outside of when they're upset, outside of when they're feeling these. Because when we get off baseline cognitively, what we're processing is going down. It's not there. So she clearly worked really hard with him beforehand and he's able to use these. So it's fantastic.
It also teaches a very important life lesson. Like when you're in a place where you're struggling, you usually don't get to leave and not go back that day. Like you usually have to like tough through it or persist in some way. And to make sure that these students have a place to go and de-escalate so they can go back and like into the environment that they were removed from is so important.
Yes. But I would love to have known, okay, now what does he do with that? Especially when I think of things like he was embarrassed, right? How did they then prepare him to go back into that environment to be successful again?
You're so right.
I would love to see what that transition looks like, because this one's great.
Yeah.
But to your point, you don't know, and we teach this like if you're doing like a table time activity, you teach coping strategies that can be utilized in that environment, because you can't always go and lay in your bed, right? Like you can't always leave the space,
Yeah.
But I would love to know what that approach was in getting him back into the classroom confidently to complete what he was doing.
That's probably the most important part, because if you're just doing this, you're only going through the motions and you're not doing anything with the information you've gathered.
We say that here all the time, where it's like you yourself may not have had to like walk that difficult path. But that's why in our field it's so important, because it is so isolating sometimes, to have like mentors, coaching, all of that, because we can learn off of one another and kind of create this bigger arsenal of examples and ideas and tools, and
you don't have to walk that path if somebody else walked it before you.
And sometimes you don't want to have to walk that path. Like there's many paths that I've walked that I don't wish upon anyone, and they're lessons that I had to learn, but it's helped me then speak with other people or shape. And then there's lessons that I've learned from everyone else where I'm like, ooh, keep me updated with the resolution on that, or what your approach was, because I want to learn through that as well. And as BCBAs, we have to remember that, and I think it's just that like old saying that like the longer you're in it, the more you realize you don't know. And so there's wisdom in recognizing that you don't know a lot and that you should continue to talk about it.
1,000,000%. I think that's so important as BCBAs, to really just to be like, we don't know it all, and it's okay to ask for help, and we're doing what's best for clients.
Marcus, have you had a drink?
No, not yet.
Marcus, can you have something to drink?
Sure, will do.
Marcus, you tomorrow promised to drink this morning. Today was a good day. I think that was 2 minutes. Marcus looked at me in an angry way. His interest.
Please can someone.
Today was a good day. Whoa, did you pick up that outfit?
Yes?
Well done.
What? Is it a gold
star? Marcus was very pleased with his positive behavior reward. Today was a good day.
Isaac, you know that open future module that talks about writing with people and not for them?
Oh yeah.
Can we do that, please?
Sure. Want today a good day?
Isaac, what is with today was a good day?
Isn't that what everyone wants?
Yes, it is. I mean, no. I think the module talks about that too.
It sounds like someone needs to retake the module. Here you go.
Thank you.
Today was a good day.
I love that so much.
He really just captures like the arbitrariness of like some of the demands we place on our client. Like, I don't think that was 2 minutes. He's like why?
Really?
Like, why?
Oh,
like,
There are moments where going into the robotics of ABA are really great, especially when you're dealing with a behavior. Less is more. That pre-mac, the repetitive nature is good. The stepping back, that's good. There's that robotic mode you have to go in and to be able to almost
helps you not get your own emotions pulled into their emotions.
But like in general, we do need to make sure that we're not making the situation strange and weird, like
inhumane.
We also need to change what we're saying too, to give them a variety of different things to hear. I know myself, we all say the things that we say. Examples right now, but
variety, you get variety.
Yeah.
If you reinforce exact phrases, you get exact phrases.
Yes.
There are multiple studies. I mean, there's one just for block building where they reinforce kindergartners for building novel structures, reinforce kindergartners for building an exact structure. The kindergartners that were reinforced for building novel structures built hundreds of novel structures, and the kindergartners that were reinforced for building the same structures built the same structures. Like language is the same.
Absolutely.
Super cool.
Dana, thank you for joining us too. That was
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
It was such a blessing.
Yeah.
Such a treat.
Thank you.
And all of you, please like, follow, subscribe, smash that link wherever it is. Punch it like Dana is. Do that. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining.